I'm going to talk mainly about an A4B project that we're just starting, which is to deliver low-carbon buildings in Wales, going from the policy to the practice. We've only just started the project. We're recruiting staff at the moment, so I'm not able to say too much about what we've done yet, but I will refer to some examples of the sort of work that we will be engaged in. Just to give you a flavour of the built environment in Wales and the carbon agenda. Wales is unique, or nearly unique. There are, I think, 2 countries in the world which have sustainability within their constitution. And so Wales is legally obliged to deliver a low-carbon agenda. And the Welsh Assembly government have set some fairly ambitious targets. The first is that all new buildings in Wales from 2011 will be zero carbon. Maybe it'll slip to 2012, but it'll be before England, which is 2016, and that's only for housing and schools. And then we have a 3% reduction per annum target of CO2 emissions across the board from 2011. And of course, the built environment will play a big part of that, especially our existing building stock, which uses an enormous amount of energy. And the third one is that Wales intends to be self-sufficient in renewable electricity within 20 years. So it could be the first zero-carbon country in the world, or one of the first zero-carbon countries in the world. So it's quite an exciting place to be in terms of the built environment and research on the carbon agenda. The School of Architecture is a research-based school, and we've been researching into low-energy buildings, sustainable buildings, passive design of buildings, whatever you want to call it, for the last 3 decades, ever since the first energy crises of the 70s. And we have a number of centres in the school where we work with outside organisations. We have the Centre for Research in the Built Environment, which used to be a CTIC when they were funded, but we continue to operate that. And that works very closely with industry in Wales and with industry in Wales outside of Wales. So we help industry work in other countries. About 2 years ago, the UK Building Research Establishment chose us for their Centre for Sustainable Design, and we have a chair and research projects in partnership with the BRE in this field. We have a design research unit which actually designs buildings within the school, and some of the buildings at the top there, this one uses Welsh timber, this one is a low-energy factory in Neath Port Talbot, were designed by the Design Research Unit, and we've recently completed the Margam Visitors Centre. We also work with other practices. We work as building physicists with other practices. This is the first zero-carbon office in Switzerland, and this is the first zero-carbon tower in Dubai, and we work with Atkins on this building, and it's one of the few remaining projects that are alive in Dubai at the moment, I think. So that's still sort of coming out of the ground. And it's got about 60% less carbon dioxide emissions than a standard sort of tower. We also have the Low Carbon Research Institute at the school, or we're part of the Low Carbon Research Institute, which is a consortium of 5 universities in Wales, looking at research across all the energy sectors. So we're looking at the built environment. Our School of Engineering is looking at large-scale power generation. Glamorgan are looking at hydrogen and waste. Bangor and Glyndŵr are looking at solar PV. Aberystwyth is looking at bioenergy, and Swansea are leading on marine. On Friday, the First Minister will be launching a WEFO project that we've just secured of some £34 million, which will be spread across all these universities to help the Assembly achieve their low carbon ambitions. So that's a bit of background to the school. This project is very much to support the Assembly in achieving these CO2 reductions, to help the Welsh construction industry with knowledge and skills to deliver low to zero carbon buildings, and to get some control over the cost and the technologies, and then to address the wider aspects of sustainability, not just about the carbon agenda, but looking at material use, waste management, water use, and the socio-economic factors. So that's what we're embarking on with this A4B project. The program, we want to review computer modeling, we want to look at innovative design solutions, investigate the cost, look at in-use performance, take a forward look at the emerging technologies that are on the horizon, and then in particular, I guess, and especially to disseminate this knowledge to the industry and to work with the industry in disseminating. Just to look at the sort of things that we might be doing with industry based on past work. Computer modeling, we have a range of computer models at the school that we've developed and are in the process of developing to help the construction industry. We have examples. This is a model that we're currently in the final stages of developing with BRE and some other partners, which is a very early stage design model for predicting energy demand and the supply of energy from renewable sources integrated into the building design. We have models to predict the performance of the construction. We have lighting models. This is a visualization model. We have CFD, computational fluid dynamic models, to predict indoor air movement and temperature distribution. Wind models to predict the wind flow around buildings. Solar models, and models to predict the outside temperatures around our built environment. So we can predict lots of things. And all these models have been developed through research, but are now being applied on real design projects. We want to look at design solutions for new build. We want to put packages together so that the industry can see how the components fit together in a holistic way. And this is an example of a zero carbon house using innovative construction methods, off-site construction methods, local materials, using passive design plus renewable energy. And again, we use our computer models to predict the performance of these. So we want to put packages of these together. Our existing building stock, we have models to look at the existing building stock at scale, at large scale, working with local authorities and others to look at optimizing the energy performance and also looking at how we can decarbonize the energy supply. We're looking at the cost of these packages. Those of you who might be aware of the route to zero carbon, there are sort of levels of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 being zero carbon, and the predicted cost increases to get from low carbon to zero carbon. And to be honest, this is really uncertain. If you go to some builders, they'll say it's 30, 50% more. If you go to others, they say they can do it for the same price. So there are huge uncertainties in costs that we have to come to grips with. And in the next 2 or 3 years. We want to assess the performance of buildings in use. We can design them, but we need to go back, measure how they perform, use air leakage measurements to see how leaky our buildings are, thermography to see where the heat is leaking, monitoring the performance over time to see, in this example, how solar radiation can help heat the building to displace the heating system in winter. And also to take this forward look. Where are we going with our built environment? We want to reduce the operating energy of our new buildings, of our existing buildings. We also need to be aware of the embodied energy in the building construction, in the materials that we use. And as we get to low energy buildings, we find that the embodied energy is now as much as the operating energy over a building lifetime. So we need to be very careful about what materials we use. Can we locally source materials? Where do we get the energy from then? We can reduce the demand as much as we can. Then we have to supply the energy from renewable sources. How much of this is going to be building integrated or community integrated? How much of it is going to be grid-based? So all these are questions that we need to be sort of looking and helping industry to solve. And of course, then, the big thing is how we disseminate this information to the end user. So thank you very much.